Hello and welcome back for another video. So I thought I'd make this video just to get you guys up to speed, and maybe there's been some misinformation going on, or maybe things you may have overlooked. So today we're just going to cover some topics, and starting with news obviously, and then towards the end there's always some nice Bitcoin technical analysis. So to kick things off, we are going to look at some important crypto news and Bitcoin purchases that maybe there's been people who have overlooked it. So let's get into it. So first things first, Kraken have received a master account at the Federal Reserve. And then we have Morgan Stanley filing for a BTC ETF with the Bank of New York Mellon. At first glance, it may look like another day of institutional adoption headlines, but in reality, this could be one of the moments that permanently shifts the game in Bitcoin's favor. So there are some key developments that represent a major global positive for the crypto industry. So here was the tweet from Nick Bhatia, the founder of the Bitcoin layer, and he goes on to pretty much say exactly what I've just said, apart from the USA is Bitcoin country. From the comments, people look extremely happy, as you can see. Wall Street Journal said, Kraken becomes first crypto firm to win access to Fed's core payment system. Master account approval gives firm access to the same payment rail as thousands of banks and credit unions. So that is pretty big. And now let's talk purchases and flows that likely contributed to Bitcoin's rise and could potentially push price into the important zones we had discussed yesterday. So crypto transfer and buying activity in Iran surged amid the war. A sharp increase in withdrawals from Iranian crypto exchanges has been recorded. At certain moments, outflows exceeded normal levels by 873%. That is crazy. So Iranians are moving funds to safer places and using crypto to bypass sanctions. And these transfers and exchanges are going to old wallets, which indicates clear accumulation and a flight to a defensive asset. And in critical conditions like this can potentially outperform traditional safe havens such as the gold or the US dollar. So as you can see in the tweet, Iranian's 7.8 billion crypto market is drawing renewed attention as conflict drives a surge in activity. Personally, I think this war isn't going to stop. I mean, that's just my thing. That's what I think. So far we've had the 3 countries involved. Now there was some drones in Cyprus. I think I mentioned that yesterday or the day before. I think it was yesterday, but anyway, there was some kind of drones or bombs, something in Cyprus on some British base, and pretty much UK had to get involved. And now there's about a 3,000 kilometre stretch over the Middle East, where the countries are all of them are in this big war together. So things are getting out of hand. I just hope it doesn't, expand further. So what I've seen on other news today is that Iran is just attacking everyone. But Trump did say something interesting, I think a couple of days ago, where he doesn't care and he will just blow the country up, which is pretty crazy. Anyways, the data from Chainalysis and Elliptic show sharp outflows from Iranian exchanges after airstrikes. So I think it's like, obviously, people are worried and they're doing what they can to put their assets aside, kind of like just to save what they can. So American Bitcoin continues accumulating Bitcoin. It sounds a bit, not right. Pretty much American Bitcoin is a company, and what they've done is surpassed 6,500 Bitcoin on its balance sheet. And you can see in this post, huge milestone, American Bitcoin has crossed 6,500 BTC, accumulating over 500 Bitcoin in the last 21 days. That is pretty crazy. Just think about all these supercomputers that they have in this facility to be able to obviously mine 500 Bitcoin in 21 days. That's less than a month. That is just insane. And according to Eric Trump, this guy who tweeted this post, the executive vice president of the Trump organization, now ranks 17th among the largest public companies holding Bitcoin in the world. So situations like this have triggered the aggressive price growth we're seeing. And additionally, we can conclude that in critical situations, Bitcoin is increasingly attracting attention as a defensive asset in today's financial environment. So it shouldn't be as confusing anymore if you've been keeping up to speed with the videos. Looking at the chart, we can now see that the price has broken above the range and has already completed a clean retest of that consolidation zone, so which is clearly visible on the 4-hour time frame. This is an important development because holding above this level keeps the bullish structure intact. So if the price continues to defend this area, the logical move would likely be a push toward the 70 to 82,000 zone, marked on the top. And that region stands out as a key area of interest where the market could potentially start looking for short opportunities. But until the price actually reaches that level, the current strategy remains simple. As long as we stay above the range, the market structure favors long positions, and shorts only really become interesting once we approach that higher resistance zone. So now if price drops back inside the range, then the scenario we discussed in the previous video comes back into play. In that case, we should expect the market to start moving towards the lower boundary of the consolidation zone. This is why it's extremely important to pay attention to the 4-hour candles actually close, rather than reacting to every quick move inside the candle. Waiting for confirmed closes helps us avoid getting trapped in false breakouts or short-term market manipulation, which happens quite often around these levels. So for now, the overall market structure is still leaning bullish, which means the smarter approach is to remain patient. There's no real reason to push into short positions yet. The market simply hasn't given the signal. So we have this zone marked specifically because this is where things could change. So we could see a nice move up to this 79 to 82,000 area, but we could also see a downside bearish movement. So let me know in the comments about what you think about the war, where it's going to go, what's going to happen. It'll be interesting to see what you guys think. And also let me know where you think Bitcoin is heading. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.